What's up, everybody? This is the first installment of the HotLap Productions podcast. I am your host, Isaiah Reyes.
I am Ventura Rangel. How we doing?
And today we're going to pretty much get started by introducing ourselves and then get into some news and kind of let it flow. Well, Ventura, you want to start?
Should we just, start with how we got into the car scene, I guess?
Sure.
Well, I guess, long story short, it was really because of Isaiah here. But I mean, growing up, Fast and the Furious and whatnot, I always had a liking to cars, like, oh, that's a cool car. That was kind of it, never really exceeded that. Same thing playing racing video games, it never really exceeded anything beyond, oh, look, cool, a nice looking car. But once me and Isaiah became friends here in high school, and he just kind of started explaining more and just kind of being around it more, really just kind of took off from there, and it hasn't stopped since. So eventually finally got my first sports car, if you will, in a Mazda Speed 3 2008 first gen. Absolutely loved it, beat the crap out of it, but it is what it is. And then just kind of, especially once I got that car, for sure, just skyrocketed up, because I started watching videos of people building stuff, and then led one thing to another. Car meets here, car meets there, doing things on the highway, and just kind of took off from there. So it's definitely been relatively newer, if you will, maybe compared to Isaiah's experience, but it's still been fun nonetheless. And I've met a lot of people and created a lot of relationships and friendships because of cars. So it's definitely fun. I'll say that much.
What are we driving these days?
I now own a 19 Mustang GT Performance Pack 1. So it's I've had that now for 4 months. I think it's 4 months, 4 or 5 months. It's
yeah, all right.
It was quite the jump from the speed, but it's been great. I love it.
Yeah. No, that was a crazy find. We were searching for it.
Oh my God, dude. I still, every time I tell somebody I was 19 with 1,900 miles on it, they just look at me like, what?
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then looking at the prices for what I bought it at too was damn near steal too. So it was definitely a great find, and I'm glad we did, and I've enjoyed every minute of it since I've had it. So
yeah. Well, for me, it's kind of been a lifelong deal. Dad was mildly into cars, and most of his choices were long, big, land yachts of cars, Cadillacs and Lincolns and things. But later on, my brother was a big influence. We started wrenching on our little hand-me-down Hyundais that our parents had given us, and we went out and raced those. And then he ended up getting his current car, which is a 2010 SS Camaro, and that thing is extremely nasty. I mean, he's got 28 10.5s on the back, and that thing just rolls over. I'm sure 1,000 horsepower. But with me, I totaled whatever I had. My first car was a 95 Ranger, but Ventura can tell you the times that we've had in that thing, and just making it do what it can. And that was a fun car. And I mean, I had some really off choices. I had a 93 Civic Del Sol. That was an automatic. That was a terrible car. Then I had the 99 Mirage. That was a not terrible car, but then I blew the time belt on that car. So then I had to get rid of it.
Is that what happened? I thought it was a transmission.
Nah, dude. On the highway, being stupid with it, and the timing belt snapped. So, yeah, that was that car. I only had that thing for maybe like 3 months. It wasn't even long.
I never even saw that car.
I know. And then I had that Versa that my mom bought me, which I was super appreciative of. So I had that car for about a year, and then now I'm bought my current car, which is my 16 Kia Forte Turbo, which, of course, that thing is extremely modded at this point. It started from nothing and supposed to be my daily driver, and I was going to get a project, and then I started modding it, and then I started winning races, and then I started modding it more, and then it just kind of took off on its own. It's nicknamed the Sleeper, so hence my Instagram and most of my tag stuff. But it's a cool little car. It kills older model V8s, but it's a fun little thing.
I'm a witness to that. Any doubters out there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a fun little car. It's a head turner. No one knows what it is until we hit it. But yeah. Outside of that, I mean, we're both in the automotive industry career-wise. I'm a service manager. Ventura is a service writer. I've been in the business 6 years. And what you've been in what since you started selling cars?
Yeah, I was selling cars before that for a little over a year, and I've been a writer now for a year and a half. So all in all, 2.5, 3 years ish. I've been in the industry.
So we've been, we know our way around the car, and that's for sure. And our way around the business. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, I mean, I'm a musician. That's about it. But that's me. That's all I got.
Outside of cars for me, it's at this point now in my life, it's basically video games. So it's not much else I got going on.
Right. So let's hop into the news. The new Z not came out, but the new Z prototype was released. Expected to have 3-liter V6 twin turbo, 400 horsepower. So that should be a potent combination. When they put the cars side by side to the original Z, it looks about the same size. So should be a competitive car. I think it's going to be Supra.
I'm excited. It's my excitement for that car. The more I think about it, and the more I keep piecing stuff together, I'm just like, that's as long as they don't screw it up, it's going to be one heck of a car. I think as far as just the specs that are on the car, or what's at least announced so far with the manual, I think that's a big kicker too when you compare it to the people or the other cars that are going to be in its class, is that you can still get it with a 6-speed, because that's what everyone has been bugging for any new car, is just give us the manual. And some do it, some don't. But I think to keep the essence of the Z, I think it needed that, and I'm glad they stuck to it for sure. Even if I never own or, God forbid, never drive one, I'm glad they are keeping it. So
yeah, I mean, the current 370Z's been in since 2009. So, I mean, it was the 40th anniversary Z car and now the 50th anniversary Z car. So I think it's served its purpose at this point. And I mean, there was no major facelifts or changes. So, I mean, you buy an 09, yeah, you get a 09 and put it next to a 20, you're just kind of like, well, the same car.
Right.
It's insane.
It was definitely overdue, but I think that design-wise too, they did a near perfect job. I can leave some room there for the front grille, but
Oh, yeah.
I think everything else on the car, all the other body lines, the fastback look, the taillights, everything else is pretty solid.
Yeah, they incorporated all the Z's really well. The taillights I love because they accent the 300ZX of the early 90s, the Z32 model, and then the fastback look of the 300ZX from the Z31 model in the mid 80s. So it's like it just kind of incorporates all those body lines. People are kind of complaining about the side of the car though, because they're just like, well, it's plain. But I mean, if you look at all the Z cars, none of them are really like super athletic on the sides. They're pretty straight bodied from front to back.
They're complaining about the side profile?
Yeah, they're saying that, they didn't, I guess, push the design. They were going for retro feel, but I don't know. I guess everybody's kind of tired of let's try and make it look like the original type deal. So
Hmm. I don't know. I like the side profile. That was actually one of the first things
I
I
did
liked
too.
about the car was the side profile.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I like the cockpit too, from what they put. I mean, the electronic gauge cluster is going to take some getting used to. I kind of wish it was an analog. But I do like how they incorporated all of the gauges like they have in all the Z cars, where it's in dash, as well as the changeable displays that they have on there too. So um, I don't know. I'm excited to see what the production model is going to look like, because
Mm-hmm.
again, this was a prototype. They're saying they're going to release the real car in the springtime for production. So I mean, we should be seeing what the real production model is going to look like here probably before the end of the year, if they still do the Tokyo Auto Show with all this COVID crap going on.
So it's gonna it's gonna release for sale by spring.
That's what they're saying.
Oh,
But they said that about the Supra when they had the FT1 prototype. I mean, they kept saying it was going to come out every spring and for 10 years before we actually got it. So,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but I'm with you on the manual thing. All of us enthusiasts are hella save the manuals. But I mean, we know DTCs and ZF transmissions are superior in shifting time, and yeah, you can get the faster quarter mile time with the automatic, no doubt. But it's nothing like changing your own gears. But I don't know. It's kind of scary in the U.S. market, because Hyundai actually just released that they're no longer going to sell the 2-liter Genesis G70 in a manual anymore, because they only sold 100 units in the whole model year.
Yeah, that makes sense for Genesis though, because you think about it being a luxury brand, like who's ideally, of course, there's us, but ideally, who's buying a Genesis to roll some gears?
Well, I mean, that's their direct competitor with that car is the 3 Series. So I mean, that 3 Series does offer the 328 with the you can still get a base manual in a 3 Series still. But I mean,
they probably sold 100 more than 100 units though.
Well, and that's my thing. So I drove one personally, and it was nice. I have no complaints. It was fun to drive.
The 3 Series or the Genesis?
No, the Genesis, the G70 with the manual, the 2-liter. I feel like if they would have made it to the 3.3, it would have done a lot better. I think at that point they probably would have sold more manuals than they would have the 8-speed.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's still an impressive car, no doubt, though. The 8-speed in that thing is stupid.
Is it? It's not the same 8-speed as the Sorento, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, then yes, that is a nice transmission.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Veloster in the 7-speed though. See what that does.
Oh yeah, I can't remember if it was you or I saw it somewhere that was telling me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a wet clutch system too, so it's supposed to be really quick.
Be interesting to see. I guess, especially track wise too. I was probably gonna be easier at that point, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they're making it for that purpose, I'm sure, and also to give people who don't know how to drive manual the option to own one of those cars. But I mean, no doubt that car did very well without having to offer an automatic.
Yeah, but the thought process at that point was like, how much more can we sell if we had an automatic?
Exactly. So now they're like, okay, we might as well, give them what they want. I still wish they would bring the Elantra in overseas. I mean, that would be one sick car. But apparently Americans don't like to buy hatchbacks.
Well, I guess they could now. Maybe with the Focus being gone, there might be some more room for it.
Yeah, that's true.
Take up some of that market, because I think the thing with the Veloster, you still have a lot of people that look at it and are still kind of like, oh, what the heck is that? You know what I mean? With the 2+1, the 2+1 door, or whatever, however they phrase it to make it sound interesting. The slope design of the hatch and whatnot, I personally love it. But yeah, they could bring over the Elantra hatch, since it's more of a regular looking hatchback with the end, and take up that market. But then I can also see the thought process of having too much competition within itself. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but I mean, the Veloster is it's supposed to be able for the GTI, and I can understand why. However, it's not it's not a functional. It's a functional hatchback, but it's not a practical hatchback. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like if they would have offered that in the Elantra, GT line, and then we just made the end model in that, I mean, we'd probably see a crazy spike. But I don't know. I guess that's
fair.
That
is just us.
the GT. I'm sorry, but the Elantra in overseas is just pretty. It's just a good looking car. But the shape, the silhouette, and all that would definitely be a direct competition with the GTI. So I think that's what, outside of it just being a nameplate GTI, at least I've always loved the GTIs because of how simple and elegant they look, but yet they can still get down and dirty when you needed to. You know what I mean? And I think the Elantra would probably fit into that niche as well. Well, from what I've heard and seen in videos, the Elantra is supposed to be the good ring car, to do time attacks at the ring. That it's it's really responsive and it's a really good track car. So I mean, of course it was developed there, but still.
Right. I would hope where it's developed it performs well.
I feel like Hyundai and Kia are moving in the niche brand market because I mean they're offering all these sports cars and everybody's saying no to cars and going into CUVs and SUVs and you know what I'm saying? So since everybody's getting rid of their cars and only selling those, Hyundai's we'll take the sedan market and kill it, basically.
Yeah. I've already been seeing a lot of
the K5 is amazing.
I've seen a few of them on the road already and they're looking phenomenal.
I know. I can't wait to see the actual GT in November when they drop, and just drive one. That's damn near 300 horsepower and 311 foot-pounds of torque. That's going to be a really quick sedan.
Oh, yes, it is.
So
that K5 though, it looks so good.
The sloping lines on that thing is gorgeous.
The headlights too.
Yeah.
I normally don't go for I don't want to say weird, funky, if you will, funky DRLs, but something about those, man.
So they're called heartbeat DRLs?
Yeah, I think I watched that in a video the other day. They're calling them heartbeats.
Yeah, they're heartbeat DRLs, but I'm appreciating that Kia is using amber as their DRL light choice over white like everybody else. It just kind of sets them off. Because even when you get the higher grade Telluride, it's no longer white; it's amber that surrounds the headlights. Yeah, that's pretty cool to me. I'm kind of liking that.
I have a love-hate relationship with the shape of the DRLs on the Telluride, though.
I don't know rectangle?
Why. Just having a full rectangle around the headlight. I don't know, something about that. Just.
I mean, it makes me laugh because they have a thing with adding the extra headlights. So the higher trim you get, the more headlight bulbs you have inside your headlight. So on my EX Sorento, I've got 2, but if you get the SX, you get 3. On the Telluride, you get 1, and then if you get the SX, you get 2 on top of each other. It's just I don't understand.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the LED headlights for Civics do the same thing too.
But it's all of a sudden you have the more money you spend with us, the safer we're going to keep you. That's just
Thanks.
We buy your higher trims, you get more headlights.
Well, I mean, I guess the same thing goes when base model IAs and stuff have drums in the rear, drum brakes in the rear. When I started selling at Toyota, and I saw that there was drum brakes on an IA, I was just like, what? It is 2018, 2019, whatever year it was. And I was like, there's no reason.
That little G4 thing has drum brakes on the rear too. I'm just like, well, that also has a 1-liter 3-cylinder engine. That's a really bad car. That's just, I'm sorry if you own one of those. It's just
I promise you, I had a rental car of a Mirage for a day and a half, and I turned it back in and just figured out rides on my own while the car was in the shop, because that car made me so depressed. Like
Yeah.
it was just, oh, I felt like I was in a car from like 2008, like a base model 2000, a car from 2008, and I was just like, what is this? This
It's
is
so
this is not
plasticky
good.
everywhere. There's no room. I don't understand. It
It
has a
was rough.
13-inch wheel. Like
What?
that's yeah, it's a 13-inch wheel. Like that's damn near go-kart tire size.
That's disgusting.
It's like the Yugo of 21st century, I guess. It just doesn't rust.
Yeah, I did find out. I don't know if you knew this. The TRD off-road Tacomas have drum brakes in the rear, but I found out that is for, I think it's control reasons. So I think it was crawl control, because I think the idea was if the car gets stuck into like dirt, the sand won't get into the rotor,
Oh yeah.
so then it can actually do its braking job. So how much of that is true and just not BSing me, I don't know. But
Toyota's trying to get over on people.
right. So then, win someone over. Yeah.
Toyota seems to be coming out of the hole as a car company, though. I mean, the last 20 years they've been making very basic cars.
Bland cars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they're definitely.
It was a very beige company. I mean, they offered the Avalon in so many champagne tones. It was insane.
It was like a meme where it said something along the lines of like, no one under the age of like 50 owns a beige Camry on purpose or something like that. Like, it's something along those lines. Yeah, you either inherit it or it's the only car you can find in your budget when you're a college kid or whatever. But I mean, that's what happened with the Buick.
I know, right? It was just like, it's there, it's available. I can't get away from silver cars. I don't know what's going on with me, but
I had to break my streak of neutral color cars with the Mustang. I'm glad we found that blue, because it's just.
I know, it's very nice, it's very unique. It's not the common blue.
I don't know if I told you the other day. There is the exact trim, color, everything of my car in my parents' neighborhood. Really? I saw it the other day. Pulled out, had 10 plates on it and everything. I don't know if it's a 19 or 20, but nonetheless, it's GT PT1, same wheels, spoiler, everything. I don't know. The only thing I can't tell if it's a automatic or not. But yeah, same color, same trim, everything in my parents' neighborhood. And I was like, hey, bud, there's only room for one of us around here. All right. Like, get on out.
Yeah. It's like, this is my territory.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Well, yeah, before it was white and beige for the longest time for me. And then the Mazda was silver, but it's still neutral. So let's get a little pizzazz in here.
Yeah. I mean, Toyota's coming back. They got the GR Supra and the new GR 2-liter Supra that's supposed to be coming out, which people were skeptical about.
Am I tripping in thinking that released with the car when it first came out a year or two ago? Was it? I could have sworn that the 2-liter came out with the car on release.
No. So
was it known that it was coming out? It just hadn't released yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they said that they were going to have the trim and the model. They just didn't bring it out right away. So.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because everyone kept saying like, "Oh, we got the things I've been seeing on YouTube. Oh, we got the new 2-liter Supra," and I'm like, "Didn't this come out last year with the car?" I'm like, "Why are we?"
No. Yeah, because they had the launch edition 3 liters, and I mean, because it was even known that halfway through the release of the launch edition Supras that they were going to have more power in the 21s than they did in the 20s on the 3 liters, and that the 2-liter was coming out too. But I'm just scared that BMW is about to murder Toyota's reliability reputation.
Well, the good thing is all the rest of the GRs are going to be all Toyota built, so
let's pray and hope to God. I mean,
I'm really curious.
Can't build their own car.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm really curious to see how the Corolla GR comes out, the Corolla hatch. That's gonna be a big one.
I wish we'd get the Yaris GR. That would be really cool too. I mean, that thing is crazy amounts of horsepower with a 3-cylinder turbo, and it's
what's it
like
pushing?
A toy. I think it's like 250 something.
And that small car?
Yeah, it's like a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder, something like that.
Did I ever show you, or have you seen the Corolla Apex is what they're calling it? Have you seen that one? See that they released? Apex.
Apex. No, I have not. Is it
That
like a
released
Matrix?
this year. No. It's the regular Corolla sedan. But what they did, it has I think a slightly bigger wheel and tire setup. It comes in a 6-speed manual. I think the regular 6-speed manual, but it's more of a like a handling package, if you will. It has I think it has different suspension, sway bars, and things in that. Oh, a cap, not a catback, catback exhaust. I don't know. It has an exhaust of sorts, but it's still the same 2 liter NA motor that comes in the regular Corolla. But it looks pretty sweet, and I'm assuming it's supposed to handle better. But really, it
I
also
have to
has
look that
these
up.
super dope wheels, and then it has like this bronze accent around the front grille, around like the LEDs, where the not the LEDs, the fog lights would be or are at.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a bronze trimming, and then there's a bronze trimming somewhere else too. It looks super dope, especially in the black. So the black with the bronze, oh, looks so nice.
So I looked at the GR Yaris. It is 2,800 pounds, and it pushes 257 horsepower. Yeah.
And 2,800 pounds.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the size of the motor. Okay, so the European version is 257 horsepower. The JDM spec car is 268.
Oof. That's as much as the speed. The
and a car
exact
half
amount.
of its size.
Right. Good
It's
lord.
electronically capped at 143 miles an hour, though. It's a 1.6 liter 3-cylinder engine. That's actually a pretty decent sized 3-cylinder. That's as big as my 4-cylinder.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are pretty big cylinders for a 3-cylinder.
Yeah, I'm like had to think for a second. I'm like, hold on, I'm a 1.6. 3-cylinder. That's actually really big. I'm just glad Toyota's going in the right direction. I mean, they're bringing back sporty, and we're not slow. I mean, they didn't do much to the Camry besides just kind of give it a ground effects package and a spoiler and an exhaust system and say here.
Yeah,
but it is good. I like.
But even then,
good.
even just their regular cars in general, whether you want to consider them sporty or not, they've come out of their bland hole, if you will.
Yeah, no, they're pushing styling, and it's their color offerings are really good, and they're getting better. You know, it's not absolutely terrible anymore. I can't say the same for Nissan, who decided to partner with a French company.
Yeah, that's one of those that, which is also a little asterisk I'm gonna put on the Z car. Is just hope that nothing goes wrong with the car, because yeah, Nissan's definitely been on this decline over the last 10 years.
I mean, they made really good cars up until like 2012, and then it just kind of went real bad, real fast. I don't know what happened.
And the crazy thing is, like, at least correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't noticed any as far as powertrain goes. It's only been transmission issues. I haven't seen any actual
they haven't
engine
really changed
issues.
their power mills in years. I mean,
right. So, and then outside of that, everything else on the car is just so cheap and plasticky and just not it. just
no,
not
literally
it.
Though.
Yeah, it's just.
I have no clue. I mean, Nissan in late 90s, golden.
Right.
Nissan now.
even I don't know. Like, oh God, I think my dad's Ultima was like a 06, and I love that car. Like, that was a solid car. Everything felt nice inside. I mean, as much as a 06 can, but everything felt nice inside.
They started that in it was the CVT years. That was the beginning of the CVT years.
If I were to go buy a brand new Nissan, do they still have transmission issues?
Yeah.
Or will they?
To this day.
Okay. To this day.
To this day. I mean, it's valve bodies and transmissions. Every advisor I've talked to that works at a Nissan store is just like, yeah, that's pretty much all we do is transmission. It's like working at Subaru and doing motors every week.
But that's crazy. You never hear about like people complaining about that though with Subaru for whatever reason. Like,
well, because they've owned Subarus since the '80s. They're like they're diehard customers. You're like, oh yeah, I know I'm gonna need more.
Is it build quality with them? Or are they just
No,
why
no,
do they
no,
go out?
no. I mean, that can't be like I'm doing engines at okay, I'm doing engines at 60,000 miles with STI owners. But outside of STI WRX owners, I'm doing engines in like '05, '06 legacies who have 256,000 miles on them. And I'm really not doing motors. What I'm doing is you're resurfacing the heads and putting new gaskets in it. So you're just doing head gaskets on it. But even then, I mean, that's only once every 100 to 200,000 miles, depending on how you drive. And it's really just because of gravity. I mean, the seals are sitting sideways.
Oh, right. Because
Yeah,
they're all boxers, right?
the boxer motors, yeah.
Fair enough.
But outside of that, I mean, they're super reliable cars.
No, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. Gravity would make the gasket starts ideally sliding down, but right? Is that the thought process?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, the oil's consistently sitting on the gaskets. Therefore, I mean, eventually it's gonna leak. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Oh, Ventura. Okay, so I looked at the Toyota Apex. I understand what this is now. So it's a tribute car to the 86.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. This is
I had
pretty
to.
dope.
I had to.
This
I thought
is
you were talking
pretty
about the
dope.
current '86. I was like, what? How?
No, 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 no. The original AE86. Yeah, the Torino Apex.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Wow, that's dope.
It
I'm with
looks
it.
super nice. I like the
I
bronze.
love the
Something about
wheels.
that
Good
bronze
lord,
accent.
that is gorgeous.
Hmm. I already like the new Corolla too, as it is.
It's a really nice car. I can't really give it much hate. It makes the Corolla unboring again. I'll put it that way.
Oh, yeah. Trying to sell the last generation Corolla versus the new Civics or current gen Civics it was rough. It was definitely rough.
Hondas to me is on the decline themselves too in
Mm,
certain aspects.
oh, I would very much agree.
I feel like they're rushing in their R&D department.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, man, but it's definitely people who ask me, "Oh, what kind of car should I get?" I'm not really pointing them in Honda's direction.
Because the
That's
only way
just
that you're going to get a reliable Honda is if you buy a base model.
base model CRV or whatever HRV you want. You pick which one.
Right, it's got the old 1.8 liter motor from the previous generation Civic. I mean,
Did you see that they're getting rid of the Fit?
they're doing what?
I could have sworn I saw somewhere they're getting rid of the Fit.
That can't be true. Look this
I
up.
can't remember where I saw it. It might have been good old Scotty, whatever his last name is.
Oh my god. They are. Honda is discontinuing the Fit hatchback in America. There was a global version of the Fit sold elsewhere, but it won't come here. The company
And I think it's supposed to be
increased
replacing it with
production
something.
of the HRV. No, they're just going to make more HRVs.
Oh, true.
Dude, the Fit's like the last decent subcompact in the category because no one wants an IA.
No one wants an IA.
The
Not
Spark
even a
is
little
garbage. I can't even think of any other cars in that class.
The Mazda 2 is an IA, so.
Well, the Mazda 2 no longer gets sold in America because they have it as the IA.
So then back to the IA. No one wants an IA.
No one wants an IA.
I think I don't think I ever sold an IA, and I lied. I think I sold one. I think I sold one IA in the whole year and a half I was selling at Toyota.
God, I can't even think what's in the subcompact class. Hold on, let me look this up real quick.
The Rio?
Yeah, the Rio. The Rio's okay. They stopped offering a manual in it. It kind of sucks.
What's Hyundai's version? Accent.
The Accent. The Accent's still good. I've driven the current gen Accent. It's actually pretty good. I mean, the Rio's good too. It's got the same chassis, but doesn't excite because it doesn't have a manual. Oh, the Sonic. I thought the Spark was a subcompact car. The Sonic's not all that great either.
Yeah.
Fiat 500 is good for the first like 60,000 miles, and then all the lights come on.
Then what would the Spike be, or the Spark?
I don't know. Well, I mean, they're all apparently in the same class because I'm even looking at the Kia Soul apparently being in the same class as the Fit.
What?
Yeah.
Then I don't think the Fit's considered subcompact at that point.
Well, no, I'm looking at subcompact cars. The Prius C, the 500, the Mirage, the Fiesta. They don't even make the Fiesta anymore.
What did you say was good until X amount of miles?
The Fiat 500, and then all the electrics are going to go bad because it's a Fiat. It was nice to find out that they still make the Soul in the manual, though. I actually popped up on one at work yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It actually drove really nice, too.
Does the Soul still get the 1.6 T?
No, not anymore. They stopped doing that in 18. It's now the 2-liter. The 1.6 was a much better engine. But apparently the 1.6s have bearing issues.
The NA or turbo? Both.
The NA. No, not the turbo. Forged internals, sir. It sucks. I'm upset that they're getting rid of the Fit. That is a really good car. I low-key was like thinking about getting one just to have one so I could autocross it and daily drive it. Because one of those things in autocross would be a Fit, dude. That's a big thing. God. There's I think Fit, you can get a Honda Fit and it can be a spec racer for track days, I believe.
What power?
Bro, you know how much spoon stuff is available for Fits?
That's true. I guess Honda in general. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Bro, like you can literally outfit a Fit pretty good. Like it could be a really nice solid track car. It wouldn't be super fast, but that thing would corner.
Which is important in autocross.
Yeah. Well, it's got independent suspension, I believe.
And just put some wheels that at 235s or 225s?
I mean, you can't really go that big. I'm thinking like 215.
What do they come stock?
Like 195.
Oh my god.
Man, that's upsetting. I can't believe they're doing that. Sorry, did you hear that the new TLX was a flop?
How was it a flop?
They've been driving it, the new turbocharged 6 one.
Mm-hmm.
That it's terrible, and the corners and the power is not all that great. And
I think I saw that on the straight pipes the other day.
I feel bad because apparently Acura put a bunch of money in that thing.
I don't know. I'm not looking at
it. SUV was pretty good. I mean, the RDX is a pretty solid, fast SUV.
I don't know. I guess I'm not looking at Honda Acura anymore. For
you're just throwing them to the side now.
Yeah, I don't know. Which sucks. I mean, I work for Honda, but I don't know. Like outside of like the Type R, like I'm not really looking at anything. I'm not looking for much out of their lineups. You know what I mean? As far as performance-wise go.
I mean, as good as the Type R is, and as much as we have driven the Type R, I would not buy one.
The markup for it is just unreal.
Oh, but I mean, even at the MSRP, I'm still kind of like, I really want to give you $40,000 for this. It's still a Civic.
It's still, yeah. I mean, unless you're actually tracking or autocrossing all the time.
Yeah, and that's like, you know, and I mean, I can't really compare it to the Veloster N because I guess there's a power difference there because they consider the Type R a hyper hatch. But even then, at 275 horsepower, $30,000 for a Veloster is not that bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? $40,000 for 300 horsepower in a Civic is just a little merch. And then the fact that it looks like I'm driving a boy racer Hot Wheel is not doing it for me. Like, there's no low-key version. Like, on the STI, at least you can get an STI without a wing and the hot highlighter yellow brake calipers that they come with. You can get those options off and drive a civilized STI. You can't do that with a Type R.
And then the tires, the awkward tire size on the stock wheels. It's so expensive, bro.
Why are they $290-something a daggone pop? Like, I'm putting over $1,000 in tires on my Civic. Is not a very good sentence.
I don't even want to do that on my Mustang when it comes time.
Right? Like I'm paying a card note for this, and I have to put $1,500 worth of tires on my car.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate what the Type R is, but I'm not spending that money on that.
No, I'd get a Golf R or an STI before that. I want to see what the Mark 8 Golf R is going to be like Because apparently the Mark 8 GTI is supposed to be really good. From all the reports coming over from overseas, the Mark 8 is supposed to be really good.
I'd be curious too. I feel like the GTI has needed something, or the Golf in general has needed something big for a minute too. That's starting to get bland, especially since there's been so many different hot hatches to come out during this generation.
Yeah, but the Golf is just it doesn't.
But it's still the Golf
because it's so good. Right. It's just like they're doing the if it ain't broke, don't fix it deal, and I don't blame them because fair. It's a solid car. Like you're not going to be disappointed with the interior of that car or how it looks or how it drives. It's just a solid car.
I guess more power because of what's in the segment now. I guess is really where it's at.
But they underrate. So I mean, it's not that it's completely out of the game.
That's fair. That one we had on our used lot, I think I drove it way too many times than I needed to because I enjoyed it so much.
No, yeah.
And it was an automatic.
Definitely a good car. Definitely a good car. Well, I mean, that DSG is amazing.
This is the only automatic I'd be okay with probably in my life.
I can't say that it's the only anymore. I've driven some
That's fair.
automatics recently. I mean, it's insane how good they've gotten.
Yeah, I hate that if I pull up to another car in my 6-speed and they have an automatic, that they might be able to outrun me just because their car is going to keep pushing, even though they have less horsepower than me.
Might be able to outrun you.
Hey,
let me tell you something.
There's some driver mod in there. Come on.
That 10-speed is going to go.
Oh, I wasn't saying another Mustang. For fact, I'm losing to another Mustang with a 10-speed. That's why I said might, because I was talking about some other cars. But
back to back Mustang versus Mustang, same trim. You out on that 10-speed.
I hate it.
You're not
I hate
it
so much when I had that rental Mustang, man, and I floored it. I was like, whoa! Like I was thoroughly impressed. For the automatic to shift in that 10-speed, when it shifts and you just go right back to 4,500, $5,000, just stay in the peak horsepower of that damn
the entire
engine.
Time. Yeah.
When I shift from second to third and I go all the way back to like 3,500 and have to get back to my torque, like, oh.
Yeah. It's that 10-speed is. I have no complaints, and I've driven it in the Camaro too. The Camaro 10-speed is fire.
Almost the same transmission, no?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
engine. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the LT motor puts you in your seat a little bit more with the 10-speed, but
with the torque, yeah, it has more torque.
Yeah, how much torque does yours have? 415?
420.
420.
Versus the 455.
455.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wish my car had a little more torque, which is dumb because it's still 420 torque. But
it's a Mustang. Mustangs are the Honda of the muscle car world.
You gotta have it build up.
Yeah, you gotta rev them until they can't rev no more.
Yeah. Oh my god! The other day I bounced off a red line a little bit. I didn't bounce off, but I got there and I was like, "Oh,
did the game turn red?"
Whoops, it did. It turned red, and I kept it there for like a half second, and I was like, "Whoops."
Yeah, it's okay. When you get tuned, you can go up there.
Yeah, it was a little whoopsie daisy, and afterwards I was like, "Oh god, no lights, please no lights, please no lights."
Expecting to hear
because at the end of the day, I still drive a Ford.
Yes, this is true. I don't care how good the Mustang is.